if anything.
Here now to discuss national trial attorney Michael Jaafar. Michael, thank you for being on with both of us today. Great to see you. Listen, some of this just doesn't add up for me. You've got obviously a smart person, an attorney in the military, working at the Pentagon, JAG. And then you hear he has this secret Microsoft work, which requires a security team that the in-laws living with them never see, but have to have permission during certain times of the day to even come home to make sure it's safe to come home. Paranoid behavior, seemingly really good folk, the mother and father of the victim as they're testifying. You really like them. What is going on in this case, in your opinion?
I think that it's becoming kind of like a Rorschach test, right? If a person believes that he actually did this, then all of this behavior is compliant with him doing it. If somebody believes that he didn't do it, they could find any other reason that would justify this behavior and say, well, they can point to that and say, well, this shows clearly he was not premeditating the murder of his wife, right? So for me, I feel like there's a common theme, Judge Ashley. When I've advised clients in the past who didn't murder their wife, but were even just entertaining a divorce or a separation from their spouse, their behavior becomes very bizarre. And that's just a regular divorce. People report, and many experts will testify in divorce proceedings that, you know, a person suffered depression, is already suffering depression, they've needed therapy. Just the physical separation between a husband and a wife is traumatic on people, let alone a person who's planning to murder a spouse, if he did this, right? So if in fact he did it, it would lend credence to the fact that his behavior showed signs of him building up to kill her. Because in my time, I don't remember a more qualified defendant in terms of covering up a murder than a former prosecutor. People don't understand how qualified you are as a prosecutor to cover up a criminal act if in fact he did do this. So, but that doesn't mean that he's not a human. Because he's a human, if he did do this, his behavior would become bizarre. He would become overwhelmed, decisions that he himself put on himself. So this evidence, I think it's lending credence to the fact that he planned her murder. That's how I'm seeing it. I'm thinking maybe the jurors will see it that way, but his behavior being so bizarre, just a number of times I've advised businessmen, business leaders, when they're entertaining a divorce, it's just their behavior becomes very bizarre.
Mike, you may have just answered the question for us, because we had been talking in the breaks, like, what could have happened to this guy? Was there a mental break? Maybe it's just like you said, this bizarre behavior, and you've seen it, you said, where folks are separating from each other, and they start acting crazy.
Crazy, different,
and
weird.
He's trying to avoid paying $1.5 million. Maybe that makes sense, based on what you said. All right, Mike, stand by. I do need to take a break right now.